Good evening, and welcome to the final session of week one of Progress. My name is John Mounts, and I serve as one of the Education Committee Deans, and I'm here to spend a little time talking about strategic planning, or in this case, what we are going to call planning for 2021. We always include a planning process of some kind in our educational programs, and we're not doing anything different with Progress. We want to provide you and your executive board and a board of governors members with a tool to use to plan for the upcoming year. We've adopted a new program this year called OKR, and we want to spend a little bit of time talking with you about that and giving you a template for success. OKR is a planning process when OKR stands for Objectives and Key Results, and it is used by Google and other corporate entities to plan and align goals around actions within their organization. We think it's relatively easy to understand, relatively easy to use, and we give it to you in hopes that you will use it to your success. Now I want to walk you through the components of it and how to use it. There are really two key components to OKR: objectives. Objectives are essentially statements that say, here is what we want to achieve. They can be aspirational, they can be exciting. They should motivate your members in the chapter and your officers to achieve great things. They need to be short, they need to be brief, and they need to be very clear about what you want to achieve. Key results are a set of metrics that you can use to measure your progress towards each objective. Each objective that you set for your chapter should have anywhere from 2 to no more than 5 key results. Anything more than 5, and folks are going to forget what you're really working on. It's really important to keep to this structure, to keep it simple and easy for you, not just your officers, but your members to understand. There's some key benefits to OKR. It's agile. You can revise this quickly and easily, and you don't have to spend a whole lot of time in a strategic planning process. It also allows you to align all of your different activities under the objectives of your organization. It's a quick process. You will be able to complete an OKR plan by the end of week 4 and the Progress program. You can use the document you create to communicate clearly what your chapter intends to do, not just to your members and perhaps even your alumni, but to some external stakeholders like your campus fraternity and sorority advisor, parents, or even your neighbors if they're interested in kind of what you're doing. It's critical for member engagement. It's a process that allows you to share very openly with the entire chapter membership what you intend to do. And it is a tool that allows you to hold officers and members alike accountable for what they do on behalf of your chapter. So let's talk about the formula. Your objectives and key results are essentially a statement, and it comes out in formula that says something to the effect of, we will insert your objective, the thing you want to achieve, as measured by this set of key results. So you're essentially creating a statement that says, we will do X and we will measure it by achieving Y. Simple, to the point. Maybe a little bit ever if we can share some examples, which I will in just a little bit. There's some keys to using OKR. Important to remember. 3 to 4 objectives for your chapter. Now, those can be for the year or they could be for the semester. They should be aspirational, meaning something to which your chapter aspires. So think about what are the things that you want to either change or improve upon. Maybe there's some challenges in your organization that you'd like to eliminate, but your statement about your objectives should articulate how you want to move your chapter forward. Should also force your chapter to stretch a little bit. If it's easily done, it's not an objective. If you think you can accomplish 100% of that, it's not an objective in this standpoint. You really need to set your objectives high and know that if you get to 70 or 75% completion of an aspirational objective, then you have really moved your chapter forward. Then you want to set 2 to 5 key results per objective. Now, there's 2 different kinds of key results. Activity-based, that's something you want to do. We want to create a new program. We want to launch a new website. We want to develop a new member education program, something that you're going to do. The other type are values-based. So essentially, your key results are written as, we want to increase this behavior. Maybe you want to increase your chapter's GPA. Maybe you want to reduce the number of risk management violations your chapter has. Maybe you want to improve upon your relations with other chapters on campus. But no matter which type you choose, activity-based or values-based, they have to be measurable. And there's an important note with OKRs. They're not a to-do list. They are not your tasky items of things you have to do. It's not setting a meeting. These are results that are measurable, that when you achieve them, you know you have completed. The to-do list are all the little things you're going to do that add up to finishing your key results. We have a template for this, and I want to show you an example of it here now. So you would have an objective. You would write that objective in there and say essentially what you want to achieve. And then you have your key results. And for each key result, you should state very clearly what that is and how it's measurable. You should list the responsible person or persons, and you have to have a deadline. And again, no more than 2 to 5 per objective. So let's share an example with you now. So let's say you write your objective is you want to improve the quality of your brotherhood. That's a laudable goal. Many chapters want to improve the quality of their brotherhood. But then you need to spend some time figuring out what are the key results that would prove to you that when finished, you have improved your brotherhood. Here are some ideas that you might have. You may want to increase the GPA of your next new member class by 0.2 of a point over last year. Who's responsible for that? Well, it could be your recruitment officer in terms of how do you identify new members that come into the chapter more academically prepared to succeed in college. It could also be your membership orientation officer who's responsible for leading those men through their new member program. Finally, what's the deadline for doing that? When are you going to assess whether or not you have achieved that? If this is your key result for spring semester, then maybe May 2021 is a good deadline. Perhaps your second one is you want to implement monthly brotherhood events. Responsible person could be your vice president, and that vice president could delegate that to another officer. When's the deadline to implement it? Well, there's no time like the present. So let's get this started in March of 2021 to implement your first or second of your new monthly brotherhood events. And maybe the third is you want to connect more with your alumni. So you want to create a new monthly alumni e-newsletter. That would be your vice president of alumni relations. And his deadline to get that process set up and launched would be March of 2021 as well. This is just a quick example of how you can set objectives and key results. Doesn't look that tough, does it? The key is to doing the work. The key is to spending time as a chapter executive board with your board of governors working on those things. So let me give you a timeline and a process. Step 1, meet as an executive board and draft your first set of OKRs. Do this now. Don't wait till progress is over because we're going to have something for you to do in week 4. Start now at your next executive board meeting. Talk about what you want to achieve. Not just we want to do this or that, but be very specific and stretch. Remember, you have to aspire to great things. Second, review those drafts with chapter members and the board of governors, whether you share it at a chapter meeting or maybe each chapter officer takes a small group of members aside and spends an hour with them talking through what the ideas are. The key there is to share the ideas, listen, and take feedback. You don't have to change everything you've put just based on the feedback you get, but you need to assess how do you bring that feedback in and utilize it. Step 3, participate in a Progress Week 4 coaching session as an executive board. Each chapter will have the opportunity to spend 30 minutes with one of our volunteer facilitators reviewing where they are with their OKRs. Some of you may have gotten very well-developed plans. Others may still be in the draft form. That's okay. The facilitators are there to help guide you through the process of refinement give you some feedback, and help you get closer to your final set of OKRs. Step 4 after that session is to do another set of revisions, clean up the language, write it out, and agree as a chapter executive board. These are our OKRs for 2021. Finally, present them to the chapter and revisit them at chapter meetings. Make sure your responsible persons and or other officers report on what they have done to move the group towards achieving those key results. Note, we will be providing a tracking template in an Excel document for you to manage them, and we want you to use those. Lastly, as we wrap up this session, we want you to see this as for just what it is. It's a tool to use. We give it to you. We will coach you through it. Your success managers will assist you as well. But if you don't do the work, it's just a tool. So we really need you to take this effort on and set yourselves up for success in the coming year. Thank you for participating in tonight's first week of progress, and we look forward to seeing you in weeks 2, 3, and 4.